Hello and welcome to this special LinkedIn Live. So glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about how to turn a weak offer into a revenue generating asset. So if you are a small business owner, solopreneur, if you're a marketer, I have a lot of peers that love to join these calls. This may be maybe not new information, but great reminders because in just the momentum that we're in right now with AI, a lot of things are happening and we're forgetting some of the fundamentals that are really important for high conversion. So to kick things off, I want to share an observation. Have you ever walked into a coffee shop with no intention of buying anything other than a simple coffee? Maybe you just want a quiet place to answer a few emails or get some work done. I know I like to go and do some writing at coffee shops. Then you glance up and you see it, a promotional display. It says something like limited time pumpkin spice latte. And it has this description with this beautiful image, espresso blended with creamy steamed milk infused with warm pumpkin, cinnamon, nutmeg, and a hint of clove, topped with a cloud of whipped cream and lightly dusted with pumpkin pie spice. It's a special November flavor. And suddenly you realize you're interested because it's November 30th and tomorrow it will be gone. You weren't craving pumpkin spice in the morning. You didn't even know you needed one, but now you have to have it. So you order it and it's delicious, just as promised. So what changed? You could have just ordered a regular coffee or maybe your favorite mocha latte that you absolutely love. I know that's my favorite. It wasn't the product. The product is the coffee. It was how the product was presented, the beautiful visuals, the beautiful description. That is the offer. So the product is the coffee, but the way it's presented is the offer. So before we dive in, I'm going to share a little bit of a slide presentation. I'm going to give you 3 key marketing tips. And as we get further along in the presentation, I'm going to share 9 of my favorite offers. Plus, I'm going to share a simple AI prompt for that specific offer so you can get started right away. You can always watch the replay and get screenshots there. But that's kind of how we're going to roll today. Let me share a little bit about myself. I started my career as a writer. My work has appeared in local, national, international publications before I moved into copywriting and strategic marketing. And then along the way, speaking became another passion, something that I wanted to overcome my fear of public speaking, where I grew my confidence and I won local and international awards. And since then, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing, amazing people. Some of them like Jonathan Milligan, Ray Edwards, Mike Kim, and I work with them primarily as a copywriter. So today I help people turn their ideas or products into a compelling and marketable message. And I help them create the AI skills, or at least develop the AI skills for easy execution. That's kind of my sweet spot. But we're going to talk a little bit about audience. Now, some of you might say, oh, I know everything about audience. I know everything about target audience. Sometimes we need a few reminders about it. So we're going to think about audience in a little different way, kind of to be able to land the plane here on audience, and then we'll go right into offers. So I want you to think of audience as produce. Produce is a very general category, right? At first glance, you think produce. I'm going to the produce section. You know it's fresh, right? You know it's grown somewhere, right? You need dirt to grow it. It's not in a can, but they're very different. And when you look at it, you see that there's a lot of maybe fruits and vegetables, but if you look closer, there are important differences. And this is the number 1 marketing rule that we have to remember, that specificity is important rather than broad categories. And here's what I mean. I'm going to give you some illustrations to kind of drive in this point, because we can look at this just as produce, fruits and vegetables, but they're very, very different. And we have to be able to identify specificity. So when you look at audience alignment, you see this apple and you see this cucumber. they are both technically a fruit. But if I was to be packing a lunch for a child, my granddaughter or whoever, I would choose the right fruit for the right audience. So if I had a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, and I was packing a lunch, I probably wouldn't put a cucumber in the lunch because it wouldn't get eaten. It would go in the trash. But I would certainly put an apple, right? Even maybe slice it up for them. That's how audience specificity works. We often try to lump people together because it fits a broad category, but the differences inside the category matter much more than we realize. I'm going to show you another example. Yes, we're having a little bit of fun with audience. I thought it'd be great to have a creative way of looking at audience a little different and implement some of these marketing rules. So let's look at the next slide. Audience alignment. We casually call these nuts, but really they're from the fruit family, which is strange, but it is when you think about it. They're from the fruit family. So my point here is that's why understanding your audience requires looking beyond the obvious, right? Beyond the obvious. Let's go a little deeper. Here's another example. I think all my real estate friends are going to enjoy this one because I have a lot of real estate connections for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I do. So when we look at two people, and say you're a real estate agent and you're selling a home, and both of these people want to buy a house, right? So the house is really the product, right? It's not the offer, it's the product. They want a house. And they both want a house, but you can't put them in the same category and say, well, these are very similar buyers because they're qualified home buyers looking for something around 500,000. You can't really do that and put them in the same category because when you look at this, the younger buyer may be looking for something so that she and her husband can grow a family. So they may be looking at a home that's going to have extra bedrooms, maybe two-story to kind of break up the space a bit, nearby schools, maybe a fenced yard, maybe closer to the city where they'll be near the schools and near activities and near parks and near a lot of the things that would be attractive to a young family. Whereas the gentleman on the right, he may be entering a completely different season of life. He and his wife might be downsizing, not expanding. They don't want a pool. They want to downsize. If there's a pool, they don't want to take care of it, right? So they may want something with low maintenance. They may want a quiet neighborhood, one-story building, not go up and down the stairs, maybe new construction. So as we look at this, the product is the house, but to get the sale, you have to show them something that fits their story. In marketing, we show our digital products and our services through our messaging, and we have to be very, very clear as far as who it is that we are serving, not just general categories. So rule number 2 in marketing, great marketing isn't about describing the product. It's about connecting the product to someone's priorities or someone's story. But here's the tricky part. Even when we think we have it dialed in and we've identified our ideal target audience by focusing on demographic, and we think we've got it right down, all the way down the list, demographics only tells us part of the story. So if you have a demographic and you're looking at this and you're thinking, yes, my demographic male, born in 1948, raised in the UK, married twice, associated with a castle-style residence, maybe that's their home, wealthy and famous. We might think we have it really dialed in, but that description could fit 2 types of men. It could fit King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne. Now, Ozzy Osbourne is no longer with us. Unfortunately, he passed in 2025. Interesting, it's been just exactly almost a year, July 5th, that he did that Back to the Beginning benefit concert, and he raised millions for charity, including children's health care. And he died like July 22nd. It wasn't, I think it was maybe 17 days after the concert. Pretty wild, right? It's a reminder, first of all, that life is short and that people are often more multidimensional than first impressions suggest. So, how do we understand audience, right? It could be so tricky. I think one of the things we need to remember is spend less time leveraging our hard skills. By hard skills, I mean the skills that we learn, that we develop, that we practice, like developing systems and automations and ads and SEO and AI. And we just focus on that, the systems, and we got a demographic and we try to fit it all together. But I think it's more about leveraging our soft skills, believe it or not. The more we leverage our soft skills, we can truly begin to understand people, our audience. I think of all of these listed here, the creativity, courage, adaptability, communication, listening, flexibility, patience, self-awareness, resilience. I mean, you could go on. I think some of the ones that really help us with marketing are curiosity, where we remain curious, listening, our listening skills, having our radar up, and empathy, putting ourselves in that person's place. Where are they in their season of life? What does a typical day look like? Having that empathy and putting ourselves in their place and where they want to go, those are the skills that help us really understand people. And you can use that just about anywhere, not just in business, but also in personal life. It allows us also to create marketing that actually connects. And we also need to understand where they are in the buyer journey, because not everybody is ready to buy. They're at a different part of the buyer journey. They might not even know that they need what you're selling, kind of like with the story of the coffee, right? And the pumpkin latte wasn't on my radar, right? And that's happened to me. That story happened to me where I went in, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to get a regular coffee and do this. And I'm buying a scone and pumpkin spice and everything else. So here in this slide, this is from Eugene Schwartz, Breakthrough Advertising. And I'm sharing a lot of copywriting because I'm a copywriter. So I'm sharing a lot of it because it's still true today. It doesn't matter if you're using AI tools. In order to train AI well in copywriting, you have to understand copywriting because you need to tell it what's working, what isn't, and you need to question and give pushback. And if you don't understand the science of copywriting, it's just going to give you words, and words isn't going to really convert. So the stages of awareness, the buyer journey, once you understand the audience, a buyer journey is, are they unaware that they need this? They don't even know they have a need or a problem yet, right? So it takes a little bit more of publishing content to explain why this is a need for this particular group. Or maybe they're problem aware, pain aware, but they know they have a need, but right now it's not a priority. There's other things that take priority. So they could be in that place, right? You can see why we want people to join our email list so we can continue to nurture them if they're not ready to buy, so we can stay top of mind, right? Solution aware, they know solution exists. They know there's a way to do this. Kind of like all of us are saying, we know AI can create workflows and make my life easier, but they haven't picked a system yet, or they haven't picked an agent yet, right? They haven't figured out how to do that yet. They know that there's a solution. They just haven't done it yet. And maybe it's not a priority yet, or maybe they just want to research it. Whatever reason, they're solution aware, but haven't picked anything yet. Product aware is a person knows maybe about your product and you, but they want to learn more. They're still not quite sure. They want a little bit more details. Again, this is why we like to put people on our email list so we continue to nurture them and send information to them. Most aware is where we're all a happy camper. That's where we all want to be, right? Most aware person knows a lot about your product. They know about you. The trust has been built. They are on the cusp of buying, but need to see the investment, the maybe payment options, the value. They need those things. So this is why we have to not only look at audience, not just look at demographics, not just see them as a category, look deep into their story and be able to understand where they are in the journey. So, why is all this important, right? Once you understand your audience and understand the buyer journey, why is it important? Because anytime you create an offer, and an offer is the way you present what you're selling, right? You want to put some story into it. I'm not talking about a long story. I'm not talking about a novel. You weave in scenarios in your offer, AKA copywriting, right? So once you understand your audience, storytelling becomes much easier because you're telling stories they'll recognize or resonate with. So, rule number 3 in marketing: stories touch our emotions. Emotions drive decisions. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but a sale is an emotional decision first, but they have to justify it with logic. But the real transformation or the real conversion is emotional first because they see the transformation, they see what's possible, but it has to be justified with logic. That's why the story piece is very, very helpful because it touches our emotions. I'm going to show you one more slide. This is from David Garfinkel, another great copywriter. Story cuts through the resistance of unfamiliarity, like a white hot knife cuts through soft butter, and unfamiliarity is the biggest form of resistance you have to deal with when you're introducing a new concept, a new product or service based upon a new concept. So it's very important to weave that in. So once you have your audience, once you understand where they are in their journey, how much of a runway you need so that they can feel confident and their questions are answered and they're ready to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm ready. You can weave in the stories that align. The offer almost writes itself. The offer, it becomes much easier. So remember, the product is what you sell, which could be all different, right? And the offer is how you present it, how you present it. There are different offers for different situations. You can combine offers. You're going to see this when I share my 9 favorite offers. The first one is the transaction offer. This is best for when they're ready to buy. When customers are ready, they've already done the research, the trust has been built, they know they need it, they're ready, they've been looking for it. Why it works is straightforward, provides clarity for customers who already know what they want and are ready to purchase. So I have an example there. Upgrade your home office with ergonomic chair, engineer for all-day comfort. If somebody is looking for a comfortable chair because their back is killing them and they just can't sit in that chair anymore, they're ready to buy and they're ready for it. So a simple prompt would be this. You just take whatever AI tool you use and you say, you are a high converting direct response copywriter. Write a concise, benefit driven, and you put the product description, what it is that you're offering for product, right? So you're explaining benefit-driven product description. What are the benefits of this, right? And you put in for the product for buyers who are already problem and solution aware. Clearly list the key benefits. It's really important to list the benefits, core features, price, and a simple call to action that makes it easy for ready to buy customers to say yes. So when we're saying offer, there are different parts of it. Like a sales page has a first section there where you can look at it as the person problem that they have, and the whole sales page, you could look at it as an offer, but there's really components in that sales page. And down at the bottom, after you presented your case, so to speak, and the story and the transformation, and you presented the value, the offer is really just summarizing, saying, do you want this? And explaining that. So offer can be different. It's not just the entirety of something. It could be the section of something. I want to make sure I was clear on that because I didn't think I was before. So let me continue here. The second offer is the trial offer. So the trial offer can be you've already presented everything, you've presented your case, you've added the story, and now the offer is trial for customers who need to experience the product first. So, why it works, it reduces the risk and hesitation, especially in a time where there's a trust recession. This offer builds trust by offering a hands on experience before commitment. Now, this doesn't work for every product you have. This is good for something that maybe it could be a 5-day window where they get it for free. It works really good for tools and SaaS products, but it doesn't lend itself for everything, right? So these are the offers that we have at our disposal, and we have to use it when it makes sense. So, a quick prompt for this: you're a high converting direct response copywriter. Create a landing page section. Notice I said section for a free. Now, what is it? 5-day trial of, and what is the product? That is the knowledge you give it. Highlight how low risk and cancel anytime the offer is. Emphasize the main benefit of trying it now, and make the try before you buy angle crystal clear for the buyers. So this is another way to present an offer, because maybe they're not ready to go 100%, and you can do the trial offer. Another offer number 3, is a founder's offer. People love things that are new. Some of the people, those early adopters, love jumping into something that is new. And a founder's offer usually has a nice, attractive entry point as far as price goes and investment. So early adopters are people that love to be beta users. This is great for them. So if it's something new, you can message it as them being a founding member, or this is a new launch and this is the initial launch price for this, that the price will be going up. Why it works, it creates exclusivity and urgency, making early adopters feel like they're getting in on something really special ahead of everybody else. And that makes it really attractive. So it works really great for maybe masterminds, coaching programs, membership community, that type of thing, where you have founding members and you can recognize them as founding members as well. So an easy prompt for this would be: you're a high converting direct response copywriter. Notice how I start all of them. You are a high converting direct response copywriter. Write copy for a founding member offer. There's your offer for, and then describe the program. Make it feel exclusive. That's important. And limited time. Reward fast action takers and clearly state the introductory price and when it increases. That creates the urgency. See, in the coffee example that I gave you, that story when we started, there was urgency because that particular flavor, pumpkin spice, wasn't going to be available tomorrow. So I either did it now or there'd be loss. And many people want to avoid loss more than benefit, believe it or not. So you showcase the unique benefits of joining early and use urgency plus a little bit of fear of missing out, FOMO, to drive signups. So that is offer number 3. Oh, we're getting through these really well. Limited supply offer is number 4 for customers who love small private trainings. So limited supply, you think, well, the internet, there's no limit. Well, there could be a limit because you only want to have maybe 10 people in a cohort, or maybe you just want to have 6 people in something special that you're launching. So there are limited spots for that reason. So limited supply offer plays on scarcity, right? Because if you don't get in now, you might have to wait 6 months or a year before it opens up again. Customers know they must act fast or miss out. So there's an example there of a limited time offer on something that's tangible, like a necklace, only 25 available. Once they're gone, they're gone. It works across various types of products. You just have to adjust the wording for it. And a simple AI prompt would be, again, you are a high converting direct response copywriter, write a persuasive social media post. This time we're putting on social media for a limited spots offer for, it could be, again, workshop, mastermind, coaching. Make it clear there's only how many spots? 10 spots, 5 spots, are available. Use scarcity-driven language and highlight the high-touch, high-value experience participants receive once their spots are gone. So you can use something like this for one of your offers as well. So let's look at the next one, number 5. This is a limited time offer. The other one was limited supply. This is limited time. It's not about how many spots. It's about a certain date where it cuts off. Kind of like the coffee example. This is the November flavor of the month. And after November, it is gone. So there's a deadline. November 30th would be the deadline. So for procrastinators who need a reason to do it now, this works great where it's a limited time offer. And sometimes if you create something on an email campaign, you could put the little clock, the countdown timer, or a webinar, whatever it might be, to kind of create that urgency. So time-sensitive deadline forces action and eliminates indecision. You see this a lot during Black Friday deals where it's offered only for 24 hours or 48 hours or for that weekend. You see that a lot. Limited time offer where there's a cutoff. So here is a simple prompt, limited time offer. You are a high converting direct response copywriter. Write a 3 email countdown sequence. See, this is where you want a countdown timer. And they have those accessible that you can use for your emails for what is it? A 3-day, 24-hour flash sale on what kind of product or bundle. Sometimes people bundle products, especially like Black Friday. They'll bundle some things and they're saying, hey, this is a great deal. Each one separately has a value of this, and you're getting this for the value of one. So you can position it in a certain way to make it really irresistible. And you include urgency-driven subject lines, clear deadlines, and strong call to action. Emphasize temporary discount, the value of the bundle, and that the offer expires when the countdown ends. So this is really helpful, having a limited time offer as well. Number 6, application offer. Now, this is a little different because we're not just saying click here and buy or click here and sign up. We're saying, we want to make sure this is a good fit. So, especially if it's a high value offer, we want them to apply first. So it positions your offer as high value for making customers qualify. So they have to qualify to see if they're ready to do this. So, and it could be just because you want to have really good results and reviews. And it could be simply that they need to have a certain level of knowledge or a certain level of business success before they can truly jump onto a program that you're selling. So it could be a way of qualifying to see if it's something that would really benefit them, which is a good thing because you're not trying to get them to sign up to something that maybe they're not ready for. So you can, an example of this would say, we can take 5 new coaching clients per quarter, apply now to see if we're the right fit to scale your business. So this is another type of offer, but you can see how some of these, you can use a couple of these on a campaign, right? Especially if you start having bonuses and things like that. The bonus could be a limited time offer, right? That the bonus is only being offered like for the next 3 days and then it goes away, even though the campaign continues. So you can see how some of these can be used strategically to improve the messaging or the offer that you're presenting to be able to sell more products and services. So the application offer, here's a simple AI prompt, and you can use Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, whichever one you want. You're a high converting direct response copywriter. Create an application page for a high ticket, and you tell it what it is: coaching, mastermind, consulting, and it will create the questions that you need, which is pretty cool. Include qualifying questions that ensure only best fit applicants apply. Use language that makes the program feel exclusive, results focused, and worth applying for even before the price is revealed. Typically, if they qualify, then they get on a call and you explain a little bit more about the program as well. So here we are, 7. We're almost done. Payment plan offer. It's always nice to explain these things up front because that way people know if there's a payment plan, a payment option, especially if it's a little bit more of an investment for customers that need some flexibility. It works because it makes the expensive products feel more accessible, breaking the payments down into smaller chunks. So you can say something like an example would you get lifetime access to our SEO mastery course for just 3 easy payments of 197. It's just a way to help them with their cash flow so that they're not putting everything all up front. Some people will charge a little more for that, and other people don't. They just charge what it is and just let them do the payment plan, and that's fine. There's a lot of ways on PayPal that you can do that now where if they pay by a certain time, they don't accrue any interest, which is nice too. That's also included. It used to be you had to create a service to be able to do this. PayPal, not PayPal, Stripe. Stripe does it now. Maybe PayPal does it as well, but Stripe has various ways that you can have that option for customers that want to have a payment plan. So the payment plan prompt that you want to use with your AI tool is you are a high converting direct response copywriter. Write the pricing section for a sales page. So being very specific for whatever program or course that offers both a pay in full option and a payment plan option. Emphasize affordability and how the installment plan lowers the barrier of entry while clearly stating the payment amount and schedule. And let them know upfront what that would look like if you're going to do something like that. So the next one, 2 more. One-time upsell offer. Now, this is something that you can do almost with any offer. Sometimes if you have a lot of content, you can break it up, and some of those things that you were going to offer anyway, you could break it up as bonuses, and that will look very attractive that they're getting the core of what you're offering or the product that you're offering, but then they have bonuses. But then you could also do an upsell of something that maybe you didn't think of creating an upsell. And it could be something that you were just going to throw in the program, but maybe it's something that you can have them pay a little extra for it and get it at checkout. So for impulse buyers who love maximum value, so now is it why it works is now or never. So when they're in the checkout page, they see that option. They can click to add it to their cart or not. It's up to them. It encourages an add-on purchase in the moment when the customer is already engaged. So for example, add a VIP coaching session for only $49. I mean, if you normally charge $500 or $1,000 for your coaching, I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Only available at checkout, and you only have it available at checkout. You don't have it anywhere else available. That is kind of the incentive to follow through and buy. So you're giving them that incentive. So you could see how that wouldn't be offered within the product itself. It's an add-on, a little bit of a carrot, a little bit of an incentive, so they go ahead and buy. So here's a prompt for it. You are a high converting direct response copywriter. Create a persuasive one-time upsell page that appears after someone opts in or purchases or is getting ready to purchase the core offer. This is a limited one-click upgrade. Sometimes what they do is they don't have it on the main page, but when they purchase, the next page shows the upsell. So there's different ways, depending on what you're using. If you're using ClickFunnels or if you're using Kajabi or whatever platform you're using, the idea is that there's somewhere that they can add this on. This is a limited, the prompt continues, this is a limited one-click upgrade. The upsold offer, what that is. Use urgency and scarcity. Explain why this special deal is only available right now and make the offer feel like a no-brainer add-on. So this is a great way to, again, provide that little incentive for them to continue, because if you make your bonuses and your upsells even more irresistible than the original product, a lot of times people will go ahead and purchase it because it's pretty awesome and amazing. Last but not least, subscription offer for customers who need ongoing support. And these are very attractive because they're lower barrier of entry and they get ongoing support and they get things in bite-sized pieces. So it creates consistent revenue for the person that has the platform, while offering ongoing value for the customer. So you could say something like, and this is my private community. Join our, I know, shameless plug. Join our AI lab for solopreneurs for just $49 a month, includes monthly live training, resource templates, and expert coaching to improve your marketing using AI. I know, shameless plug there, but it is true. And it is an awesome, awesome community. So here is a prompt you could use for a subscription offer. You're a high converting direct response copywriter. Write a promotional email campaign that promotes a subscription based offer for, and you explain what it is. Highlight the ongoing value, recurring benefits, and what members receive every month while still making cancel anytime feel safe and transparent. Want to remind you that next month's training is already on my profile page. So if you go to my profile page on LinkedIn, you will see it, AI Agents Made Simple. We're going to talk about AI agents. And also there is a link where in the comments of this post of the next LinkedIn Live, where if you use my website to sign up for this, you'll get the email reminders, but you'll also get this amazing bonus, this thank you gift, if you sign up through my website. You can always sign up through LinkedIn as well, connect there. But if you go through my website, you'll get this amazing bonus, which are 9 resources. One opt-in, you get all 9 resources that you can open up, and there's some amazing ones in there. So if there's one thing I hope you remember today, it's this. Better marketing doesn't begin with more words. It's not about just having AI produce a bunch of words and thinking, okay, there's a lot of words there. It just sounds like there's a lot of value. It begins with a better understanding of your audience and where they are in the customer journey and the stories you're going to tell to improve your messaging so it aligns with their priorities. And then once you do that, it's easier to create those offers. Those are pretty much like the basics of what we need to do, because storytelling is important, knowing our audience is important, specificity is important, and also understanding where they are in the customer journey. So sometimes when something doesn't convert, it's not necessarily your product. Maybe you're reaching the wrong audience. There's a lot of variables in that. So by just reflecting, and AI can help you with this too, you can figure out what it is you need to tweak rather than starting from scratch. But if you do have some questions about your offers, marketing, if things are not converting well, you can schedule a call with me. It's not a high pressure sales call. I can take a look and kind of audit what you're doing, and I'll give you one recommendation. And then if you decide you need a little bit more help, we can discuss that further, but it's up to you. So you can go to my LinkedIn profile, you see book an appointment. You can book an appointment with me. We'll go over your marketing and see what it is that's tripping up your conversions, depending on what the product is. So we've got to start with a great product, but then how you talk about it, you need to talk about it a lot, is important. And it has to be dialed in so you have that emotional connection and you understand where on the customer journey your audience is at. That will determine how much copy, how much content you need. If it's a no-brainer, they're ready to buy, you need less. If they're oblivious, you need more. So all of those things are variables that need to be looked at. So if you'd like to schedule a free consultation, by all means, please go to my LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to look at your content and give you one great recommendation. Oh, I see some people here. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Terry just mentioned here, always great to learn from your insights and perspective. Thanks so much for sharing this office insight. So absolutely. And I've got another one. Very well done. Okay. Thank you so much for that. It's so nice. At least I know my tool is working because I didn't know if it was working or not. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So once again, let me end with saying, until next time, take care. Bye-bye.